Hey there, YouTubers. This is a test. What I'm doing here is actually, it was a request from my cousin Rob to show off what I have in my GHB, my Get Home bag. And as you can see, it's right here. It's a pretty nondescript looking duffel bag. I used to have it in this kind of tactical thing, and you'll see a little bit more of that. And in hindsight, I'm kind of moving away from that. So you're going to see it as it exists right now. It's actually going to be changing. It's going to look a little different here shortly. First thing is, not necessarily in the bag, is just a green jacket. Um, you'll notice, maybe to jump back a little bit, my Get Home bag's a little overwrought. It's a little overdone. And the reason for that is that I commute quite a long distance to work every day, and it's across very rural country. It's actually across farm country. So, in a worst case scenario where I have to hoof it, if I had to walk from my work to my home, it would be approximately 30 miles. In the upper Midwest, I can never really guarantee what the weather is going to be like on any given time. So, what I tried to do with this is show off something that would work mostly in all seasons, barring the real extremes. And let's get started here. Jacket, gloves. These are just work gloves from Sam's. You'll notice some things are obviously kind of tactical, and then some things are frankly just kind of store bought. And these are the Wolverine work gloves. These are great, fantastic gloves. I wear them a lot, or ones very similar to this, and I highly recommend them. Um, Hand warmers. I just picked these up. I don't have a lot of experience with them, but they were on clearance, 75% off for all these. So I know one thing, it's better to be warm than cold. So it's got to be worth something. Anyway, in the bag, which again is a very modest bag, what I have is water. Mylar space blanket and water. Can't go anywhere without it. Shouldn't go anywhere without it, at least. You can't survive very long without it. And if I'm going to find myself in a position where I'm walking home, or worse, having a little bit of water is not the end of the world. Now, I only have 3 of them. Is that enough? I'm not really convinced that it is enough. But for right now, that's what I've got in here. I often find myself in dress clothes, in suits and ties, so I don't have quite a complete change of clothes, but I have quite a bit. Some BDU pants. These are from LA Police Gear. I'm normally not a shill for too many places, but these are excellent pants, and I want to say they're $16.99 or $17.99, so I have a few pairs of these. They're really fantastic. They're really tough. Just a small fleece blanket in case I'm spending the night in the truck. Boots. Again, I often find myself in dress clothes, so having some boots. These are Bates. These are fairly modestly priced, but they're comfortable and they last and they're waterproof. I'd kind of like to have another pair of summertime boots that maybe aren't necessarily waterproof, but for year-round use, these are actually a really good pair. Again, lots of concern over water. I've got a canteen. And kind of my primary kit here is, other than some stuff right up front here. Again, some more hand warmers, some beef jerky. I find myself kind of replacing this quite a bit just because it doesn't last forever. But again, I'm a big fan of being warm. So this is probably where my bag's going to change the most sometime relatively soon. This is a Condor butt pack, battle belt, and suspenders. I like the idea if I'm going to have to walk an extended period of time. I like the idea of being able to strap something on and have full mobility with my hands to be able to climb or maneuver or do whatever it is that I need to do to get home while still having a load fairly well secured. One of the challenges that I'm having right now is with the kind of tech to cool, and I keep using that phrase because some of the stuff gets a little overly tactical. You kind of make yourself a target. You make yourself stand out a little bit. And especially in that kind of scenario, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking about moving away from this, even though I like its utility. I don't want to make myself a target either. So let me go through this real fast. On the side, it's a drop pouch. I've got a small utility shovel, small e-tool, trenchment tool. Again, it's kind of heavy, but in terms of if I had to dig myself out, if I got snowbound or something, it's not great, but it's better than using your hands. In here, lots of pouches. A lot of people bag on Condor stuff. I've got to admit, for the money, I think it's very good stuff. Again here, if the old adage is 2 is 1 and 1 is none, I've got 2 space blankets. I've got one here and one here. This is a little thicker one, but again, and you'll see I have multiple ways to start fire. Big believer, if push comes to shove, fire can be, it can cook for you, it can keep you warm, it'll keep you from dying, and there's just the psychological factor. Fire is your friend, to some degree. Inside this, it's relatively waterproof, which I also like. I've got a relatively good first aid kit. Cold compress, lots of stuff, bloodborne pathogens, lots of wound care. So if I'm, have a cut or have something where I need to put a pressure bandage on, I'm a big believer in kind of the wound care side of things. Again, big believer in fire. Lots of matches. Paper, there's a pen in there somewhere too if I have to leave a note on a car, if I have to leave a note somewhere, if there's anything that could come up. Frankly, it's probably not the things you're thinking about. It's the one time you need it, and that's completely out of the blue. It's the one thing you didn't think about. Flashlight, frankly, this is a piece of crap. It should probably be thrown away. Paracord. Big believer in paracord. This is about 50 feet of paracord. It's useful in 1,001 situations. Again, probably not the one you're thinking of, even probably the one you're not. Again, very tiny first aid kit. A lighter, again, more fire. Now for me, everybody has to build these to their individual situation. Again, I'm building it for my trip, but in this case, I'm also building it for spectacles. I wear glasses, I can't see without them. I can't really do much of anything without them. So you'll notice that I make sure I have my old pair. I never let my glasses get too old. My old pair always goes into some place where I can use it in case I break these. And actually it came in handy. I did break these not too long ago and had to fall back to an identical pair that was just a couple of years older with, frankly, pretty close to the same prescription. So it's a good thing if you're going to have a problem. Let's see, that's pretty much it in there. Glow sticks. Big believer in glow sticks. I think these are fantastic. If you happen to be in a scenario where there's a worry about gas, like natural gas being in the air, or you think something might be flammable, these are also approved. They don't generate any heat, so you're not going to blow up anything if you need light. Knife. Another little emergency flashlight. It's both a white light, a blue glow stick, and a flasher. Again, is it super useful? I'm not sure it's super useful, but again, if I'm stuck on the highway, I can hang this from the antenna. If I'm not walking home, if I'm in effect staging in the vehicle, I can hang this flashing, and somebody will stop if there's somebody who doesn't come along. Emergency water. I have a couple of these. I bought these at a military surplus store. I've never opened one up. I've never taken a drink out of one. I probably should. But it's just a little bit of water in case of an emergency. Knife, spoon, fork. Another glow stick. I don't know why it's out of the plastic, but it is. and a pre-moistened cleaning towelette for my glasses. So that's got to be helpful. I just lost one of my lights, so I think things just got a little darker in here. But that's okay. I'm getting toward the end. One of the things I also have is I have 2 of these MREs, Meals Ready to Eat. This one's Southwestern style chicken with black beans and rice. I think the other one might be lasagna or something. Again, if I have to walk home for an extended period of time, 2 MREs is probably 2 days worth of food. So if something really went wrong, if there was really a scenario, and I can actually give you a scenario. An employee of mine last year he was snowplowing, and big guy, got a big truck, had been snowplowing all night in a terrible blizzard. Went home the next day thinking the roads were going to be pretty clear, ended up on a road that hadn't been touched by the county and got stuck. Tried to push through, said he should have turned around and didn't. Tried to push through, ended up getting stuck, and ended up spending about 28 hours stuck in his vehicle. Now, could he have jumped out and gone and tried to get help? Yeah, he could have, but he wasn't prepared for it in terms of this kind of gear or with the clothes that he was wearing, because he didn't expect to get stuck. And so he had to wait about 28 hours. Now he had a few bottles of water with him, and he said he had some granola bars and some beef jerky and stuff like that. So he mostly looked on it as kind of an adventure, and for him it was. But if you take that scenario and write it a little bit bigger, pretty quickly it's not an adventure anymore. So again, I have a second MRE over here. The whole battle belt scenario is going to go away here very shortly, and it's going to be replaced by something rather nondescript. It's going to look like a college backpack. Exactly what kind of college backpack, I'm not sure yet. It'll certainly be dark color, and it'll be something that'll pass off just like what anybody would have in their car that they could throw a couple of things in. Now, I'm going to be a little bit more prepared than most, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it. I also have, I'm planning on doing a video on my full bug out bag, which has some more interesting toys in it, but to be honest, this is about as utility oriented as it gets. Thanks, YouTube, and we'll see you next time.